Hello and welcome to part 28 of my Hogwarts MOC series. Today, at long last, we're going to be taking a look at the Long Gallery, but before we go ahead and do that, I wanted to get your opinion on something. So, as you may know from watching some of my previous videos, along with LEGO, my other big hobby that I've grown up with is model railways, or model railroading if you're in the US. Now, this is something which I've put on the back burner for a little while, as I've focused on LEGO, but it's not really gone away, and I've decided now is the time to create a layout for myself. Now, I realise there may be a little bit of overlap between fans of LEGO and fans of model trains, so I'm wondering whether I should create a new channel and post videos on there about my new layout, or whether I should make a playlist and continue to post videos on this channel. Now, these videos won't be coming nearly as regularly as my LEGO videos, and they won't be replacing them, so it'll be fairly obvious when a railway video is coming, and if you're not interested, you just don't have to watch. But obviously, I want to see how many people out there will be interested in seeing those videos and how many people would rather they went onto a second channel. So let me know in the comments down below, and then I will make a decision on that in the future. Thank you, and without further ado, it's time to get on to the Long Gallery. And here it is in all its glory. Managing to get most of it into frame just here. The only thing that's missing is the very top of the spire there, so I'll just tilt up and show you that. And here we are. You'll notice probably straight away that there is one little green bit there. That's just a sand green slope. I popped that in there just because I was short of one dark bluish grey 2x2 slope, probably through my own fault of not ordering enough pieces, so I will get that at some point. Just slap that piece in there for now to make do for this video. Although it does raise an interesting question. Obviously, there's the history of Hogwarts in LEGO form having sand green roofs and then having dark bluish grey and then sand green again for the 20th anniversary wave. So what do you think to adding the odd bit of sand green, not covering the whole thing in sand green, but just the odd sand green bit as a sort of little tribute, as well as the sand green aerials on top of each of the very tallest towers? I say aerials, they're obviously lightning conductors or something like that, as I don't think TV is going to work around Hogwarts. But anyway, tangent aside, here is the Long Gallery. Now, its most basic form I designed quite a while ago, probably just after I finished designing the central tower, but I've held off actually buying the pieces for it because I wanted to get the design exactly right, and this caused me a lot of trouble. In terms of size, this is the exact same footprint as my Great Hall, so it's two 16x16 plates and then a 2x16 plate, giving a total length of 34 studs and a total width of 16, give or take these little columns that stick out, they just add an extra stud there. So it's quite a large building, and I wanted to make sure I made good use of it. The dimensions were sort of dictated by the exterior. I wanted to make sure I got in enough of these windows. I don't think I've done quite as many as are on the model, but again, selective compression. I need a stamp that comes in when I say that. It's my favourite phrase. So I've just given the impression of having all of those windows. You may also have noticed that there are kind of fewer floors in here. I think the actual Long Gallery has 3 levels, but so that it stacks up alongside my central tower, I've just gone for the 2, and I think that really works in general. It's relatively plain on the outside. A lot of focus actually went into making this really strong. So for instance, these columns here, I could have just used the 1x5, or the 1x1x5, I should say, bricks, the really tall ones, and they would have just sat fine on the outside. But I wanted to make sure they were really connected through, so there's lots of 2x2 corner bricks and 1x1 bricks and 1x3s, all different on each level, stacked up to make sure that this is really solid. Of course, saying that, it'll now collapse halfway through the video. It's the same sort of construction techniques I've been using previously, running through the same variation between tan, medium nougat, dark tan for the various details, but I'm pretty happy with the overall appearance. It's one of the more plain buildings on the outside, but once you've got it with the rest of the castle all around it, it actually ends up looking really, really nice. So I think the most interesting thing to do would be to spin it around, and I can explain a little bit more why it took so long to come up with the final design. Looking inside, this might not be exactly what you expected. So you can tell right here that there is no floor just here. And the reason for that was the depth of the plates. Now, it's all very well having loads and loads of space inside, but a problem I have had with previous bits of the castle is getting enough light inside. Now, I have said in the past I want to light this up in the future with some, electric light sets, but until then I want to actually be able to see something inside there as I'm putting it together. There's another good reason, which is that this here is going to be the Defence Against the Dark Arts classroom. Now, if you've seen the second or third films, I'm not sure if it disappears after then. In fact, I'm not even entirely sure it's in the third film, but I'm going to put it in as a fun detail. There is a dragon skeleton, the one that the Cornish pixies managed to drop onto the unsuspecting class below, and I really wanted room for that as well. So by cutting out this floor here, not only does it give lots of light in here, but it also enables me to hang that dragon skeleton here in the future. Now, obviously I haven't done that yet, and I've left the interior relatively bare for now, but that is something I'm going to be moving on to in the future. I have, however, started to include some of the details of the Defence Against the Dark Arts classroom. Now, this is the one seen from Chamber of Secrets onwards. The actual place used in the Philosopher's Stone was, I believe, a real location, but they built a custom set for it later on. So some of the features you'll be able to see are these supports, or pillars, I suppose you'd call them, here, these ones in reddish brown. Now, I haven't got the shape exactly right because it's quite hard to replicate in Lego, and obviously I'm working at quite a small scale, but I'm pretty happy that just using inverted slopes. You've got those tall ones, which I think are 4 bricks high, or possibly 3, I think. And then you've got the 1x2 inverted slopes and then the 1x3 there, and they serve the dual purpose of looking good and also holding up the floor above. I've also then used cheese slopes on their ends, as it were, on their sides, to create these angles towards the windows at the back. These are all details that I've tried to copy from the actual sets, and that includes these arches in front of each window with a little sort of windowsill, and they continue on down there to the end. Obviously, another key feature of the Defence Against the Dark Arts classroom is the sort of pulpit here. Now, obviously, I've had to scale it way down, but I think you'll agree that I've managed to get the gist across there, with the pulpit with its railing round there, and then the steps to get down. They're not actually curved or spiral steps, but I've managed to give, I think, the impression. Also, there are turrets at the end of each end of the room, rather. So I've tried to show that by having a curved piece of wall, if it'll focus, yeah, curved piece of wall there, and then at the other end there's another curved piece of wall here. In the sets, in reality as it were, the doorway to get out of the classroom is in that wall. I wasn't about to attempt that, so I put it in the back just here. There is one thing to mention though, and it's one of the main reasons why it took so long to design, is creating a sense of moving through this building to the next. Now, in my castle, there are various rooms and places that are technically not accessible because there aren't any stairs, there isn't a door into them, but I'm okay with that because this is Lego. We're using the Robin Hood Bricks philosophy of having a guillotine slicing down the back here, so you can just imagine the stairs are here. However, with this building, I wanted to create a way for characters to move through, effectively not to waste the space. And so the solution I came up with was this. So there is actually a passageway. It's only 2 studs wide, but there is a passageway that leads all the way across the building. I don't know if it'll actually focus on anything down at the back there. No, it doesn't want to, but that's all right. You can see it extends all the way down here. I can move my hand out there. And it leads across the back here. Now, obviously, the real-life Defence Against the Dark Arts classroom has absolutely nothing of the sort, so this is all my own invention. But I thought that it would be quite interesting to add this second layer. So I've even included this design here with the arches and then the round sloped brick underneath each one, just as a little bit of pattern. And then there are arches here supporting the floor up above. This does mean that this is a very, very narrow corridor. You can see it from the other end here. But you can at least pose figures facing forward, which I think is better than not being able to have anyone go down there at all. The other reason for this is that I originally designed the classroom the other way around, so the pulpit end was here and you would enter here, but I think this way around makes a lot more sense for me as a someone designing it and for a viewer. It does mean, however, that you go through here and then into the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher's office, which you can see I've already outfitted with this portrait, so you can tell whose office I've decided to make it, and then this goes up against the central tower, and I've changed the design of the central tower so that this floor down here is a blank wall. So effectively you can't get through here, you've got to go up a floor and then down this little passageway here. Also means I'm left with a small space here for somebody else's office, and well, since this is a Defense Against the Dark Arts themed building, I wonder if I might include a certain very important office, one that we visit in some of the later books. So guess what it is? It's pretty obvious, to be honest. Other than that, I have not included many interior details yet, because I am going to choose what I do in here later, although I do have some ideas. So we're going to have Lockhart's office down here, and then I'm thinking here we're going to have the Boggart lesson with Lupin, and I think that gives a good... it's like a happy medium between two things, because the trouble with this, there's only one Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom, and there are lots of Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers, so I want to be able to show each of them doing their own thing, and I think that would be the most fun thing to do. Incidentally, for anybody wondering, I have included one representation of a desk. This is something very similar to the ones that Bricks Unbound included in his Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom, so shout out to him. And the reason there's only one, which is partly I wanted to try out and see if I liked it, and partly it is it's a structural desk. And that is purely because I needed something to connect these two 16 by 16 plates here. I probably could have done without it with the rest of the structure holding it in place, but I thought just one extra thing couldn't hurt, and I managed to disguise that. So it's a 2x4 reddish-brown plate. I've disguised that with a desk above. It's actually a very similar technique to what I did with the tables and benches in the Great Hall, which enabled me to connect those together. There's also this little bit of wall that flicks out just here, and again, it does the same thing, connects the 16 by 16 to the 2 by 16. Above everything, the roof is structured in a very similar way, both to the Great Hall and to the other bits of building in this same line, so going through the central tower into the viaduct entrance building. So I've used the same technique I did with the Great Hall, which was originally taken from the Great Hall set, where you've got these Technic beams up here, all connected with Technic pins, so it gives a nice strong framework, which I think, I've not tried this before, but can I lift it up? I can lift it up by that, which is great, all supported on these inverted slopes at either end. And then the roof itself, both the upper bit here and the lower bit here, are just stacked 2x2, and in some cases 2x1 dark bluish grey slopes. It's not a technique that suits everyone, because you do need a hell of a lot of slopes to do it, but I think overall it creates a really nice look, and it saves me worrying about lots of crazy angles. Obviously, we've then got the little turret on top. The turret, I think, only appears from, I want to say, film 2 onwards, but it is present in the Half-Blood Prince, which is what I'm basing my Hogwarts on. I have had to shrink it down a little bit, it's quite a bit taller, and that's just because my castle as a whole is a little bit squashed downwards, and I didn't want it to look too large in comparison to everything else. Okay, so that's basically the Long Gallery. Only thing left to do is to take a look at it in situ. You can see it lines up just there against the central tower, and you can see that roof effectively continues on through there out the other side. Just take a step back. I think that's looking really, really nice overall. Just come round and have a better look at it up this way. There we go, I really, really like that. Obviously the bell towers will go just here and finish off this end of the castle, though I am about to run out of shelf space, so I think when I can get to IKEA again, another section of shelves is in order to replace all of this stuff down here. I'll just carefully step over my beginnings of my model railway stuff. That's a sneak peek if anybody wanted that. So there we go, I will be on the lookout for another one of those slopes. And then we can complete this little bit of the castle. Though do let me know if you think that using a little bit of sand green overall would look nice. So yeah, the castle is looking absolutely massive now, extending all the way down. I can't believe I started all the way down here and we've progressed all the way through there. Right to hear. It'll be a really good feeling when I've got those bell towers finished and this section of Hogwarts, at least for the exterior, or the castle parts of the exterior, is complete. Obviously, rock work still needs creating. We're just using those stacks of bricks there to hold it up in the meantime. Okay, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed my content, then please leave a like down below, leave a comment, and I will try my best to reply to you. And your subscription would be very much appreciated. I'm going to be doing some different videos soon. Hopefully I will be doing a video of a Lego themed exhibition that I'm going to, and as well as that I'm going to try my hand at doing some of those tutorial videos such as the Bricklink and the studio tutorials which people asked for in the Q&A, so keep your eye out for those. Till then, I hope you have a good one and I will see you next time. Bye.